Last episode, we were a couple days away from the trade deadline, and we had a Donovan Mitchell quote that wasn't really encouraging. But it is what it is. We discussed a few trade targets for us, including Bradley Beal and Chris Middleton. But as I said in the last episode, we aren't the only suitors for Beal. We kind of are for Middleton, though. Just to recap our competitors for Beal, they're the Raptors and the Heat, and we kind of don't have a super great package in terms of players. But let's just cut to the chase. Let's go ahead and throw our trade at the Wizards and see what happens. As you can see, we're offering DeAndre Hunter, Bogdanovich, our 2022 first, OKC's 2022 first, which should be pretty good, and then our 2024 first and a 2025 pick swap. So let's see if they go for it. Alright, I guess Beal isn't happening, guys. You can't say I didn't try. You should at least be proud of me for not just lowering the trade difficulty and getting Beal for like 2 first-round picks. So Beal isn't coming to Atlanta, but where is he going? Shortly after we hung up with Washington, Masai called and offered Pascal Siakam and however many first-round picks they could offer, but Washington didn't go for that either. Then Pat Riley called and offered his wife, his kids, and a lifetime membership to his favorite strip club in Miami. Okay, but actually they offered Hero, Beasley, and like 1 or 2 first-round picks. Washington went for that one. So now Bradley Beal is a member of the Miami Heat. This definitely puts them as a contender in my opinion. They now have a big 3 of Beal, Butler, and Bam. The 3 Bs, if you will. They still have plenty of depth, and now elite offensive and defensive players. If this wasn't 2K, they'd be amazing, but we'll see how they end up in 2K. So Bradley Beal got traded, but what are the Raptors going to do? I mean, Siakam, Giannis fit is still not good. They definitely could use another perimeter scorer. Well, lucky for them, Indiana just drafted Cunningham, and they also have LeVert. So Bogdan has been on the bench for, I guess, the entire year. So it's safe to say that Indiana probably wouldn't be crying if they traded him, especially since they aren't really that good. So yeah, it was basically Siakam for Brogdon and Korkmaz, who apparently isn't even in the Raptors rotation, but whatever. Van Vliet and Brogdon are a pretty good backcourt, and those two paired with Giannis could make for a pretty great defensive team, honestly. So keep an eye out for them as well. The East honestly just became a whole lot more dangerous. We've got the Brooklyn Big 3, Giannis with a solid team on the Raptors, and the Big 3 in Miami. But what about us? We struck out on Donovan Mitchell. We struck out on Bradley Beal. Are we going to go with Plan C in Middleton? If they accept Bogdanovich, Hunter, our unprotected first this year, and a pick swap in 2024, then sure. Well, there's your answer. Middleton is now an Atlanta Hawk. Sure, he's not as good as the 2 other guys, but he's better than the 2 guys that we shipped out. A guy who almost went 50-40-90, can create his own shot somewhat, and can also play good perimeter defense as well as hold his own in the post sometimes. I don't mind trading Bogdan for him because Herter is a very similar player with slightly less shot creation, but he definitely can fill the role of scorer off the bench, I think. As for the rotations now, we're still running 10 guys because filling every position with 9 guys is hard for me. That means Dunn is playing 14 minutes at small forward. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do with it. Maybe I should just not use rotations, but we'll just have to see. I don't really love the idea of Dunn playing at all outside of certain situations. But yeah, that's our team as of now. I definitely think we're better. Let's just hope we can keep up our winning for the rest of the season with our new addition. You know how 2K can be when you make a change of things. Before we go, let's get through a 4th quarter against the Heat. We get to see what Bradley Beal looks like on the Heat too. Rondo starts us off getting the steal and tossing the ball up to Herter, who gets his first shot of the game to go. He was 0 for 8 before this. I guess Herter just needed me to play with him because he greened a midi on the fast break too. The Heat start off with Bertans tossing a lob to Bam, who gets the really tough finish for 2. Trey then draws the attention of Beal, who happens to leave Herter wide open for another green. This man is unstoppable when I use him. Speaking of, here's our first look at Middleton in a Hawks uniform. It's a green 3. How fitting. Despite John playing his best vertical defense though, Precious manages to get the shot to go over him. But despite also the good initial defense, Bam manages to get the rebound and the putback to put the Heat within 2. Then on their next possession, we've got some confusion on defense. They take advantage of that to tie the game. But Trey cuts through the defense to get the layup to go, putting the lead back to 2. Then after some Middleton free throws, Miami has the ball, and they drive on Trey. So yeah, that's pretty much 2 points. But then after some good defense, Bam gets the tough lob to go from Dragic, and once again we are tied. Cam gets those 2 points right back off the post up on Beal. Those are his first points of the game, actually. Bradley Beal finally gets a jump shot to go off the bad defense from us. We are officially down. But you know how Trey is. He finds Collins for the open 15-foot shot. Dragic is carving us up this quarter. He gets by Trey and gets the floater to go over Cam for 2. We go down 3 off of Dragic free throws, but when in doubt, run a Trey floppy. He greens the 3 for us to tie up the game with about 3 minutes to go. Capella then gets the steal on the inbounds, and on the other end, Trey is getting his 10th assist to Collins, who was wide open for the slam. Middleton's second bucket for us that we get to see is on Jimmy Butler of all people. This is promising. But we aren't totally safe yet. Beal cuts the lead to 2 again with about 2 minutes left. Collins solidifies the lead for us a bit, dunking over Dragic for the and 1. On the other end, John played his best defense, but Jimmy cut the lead to 2. Again. We get a 4-point lead for the millionth time. Again, it was somebody posting up Dragic. Then for some reason, we just don't defend anyone at all. So they get a wide open layup and they're within 2. Oh, but then they start fouling for some reason, so we end up winning the game. Nice. So yeah, that's it for the season. We ended up slipping to the 3 seed, which could be pretty bad for us, considering we get to play the Celtics instead of the freaking Hornets. But we'll talk about the playoffs next episode. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. And y'all have a good one.